Right now you are shaping your future without even realizing it. Not metaphorically, but literally. And it is all unfolding according to a hidden design embedded not just in the universe, but in you. You may feel like you are reacting to life, moving through experiences that just happen, but beneath the surface of what you call reality, something much deeper is happening. There is structure, there is pattern, and there is intention, yours. We've been taught that life is random, that things happen by chance, and that we're small players in a much larger, uncontrollable system. But this is the greatest illusion of all, and it is time to dissolve it. Because what if the events, relationships, and even setbacks in your life were not random outcomes, but responses? What if there is a living, intelligent matrix, a quantum field, that is constantly responding to you, not to what you want, but to what you are? Not in a mystical sense alone, but in a deeply scientific, measurable way. Everything around you, from the objects you touch to the people you meet, is connected by an invisible web of energy. The atoms that make up your body are not fixed particles, they are waves of potential, vibrating in and out of existence. And here is the most astonishing part: those vibrations respond to your consciousness. You are not separate from the field, you are woven into it. Your thoughts, emotions, and even your subconscious beliefs emit frequencies. And those frequencies shape the world around you like invisible blueprints, imprinting the quantum clay of your reality. This is not philosophy. This is physics. And you have been interacting with it your entire life, whether you have known it or not. And yet, when things fall apart, you question everything. But the truth is, the field does not discriminate between desires and fears. It responds to coherence, to clarity, belief, and emotional alignment. And that is the first key to understanding the blueprint. Have you ever wondered why some things manifest instantly, while others never arrive, no matter how hard you try? It is not because the universe plays favorites. It is because your energy, your personal broadcast, is speaking a language. And that language is either clear, or it is scrambled. Either in alignment, or in contradiction. This hidden design is like an operating system, running beneath the surface of everything you do. It interprets your identity as code. It translates your focus as instruction. And it takes your emotions as confirmation. In other words, you are not waiting for life to deliver your destiny. You are building it with every signal you send. You are the blueprint, in motion. But this truth is not about blame. It is about power. Because once you understand the mechanics behind this energetic framework, you are no longer at the mercy of external events. You step into authorship, into conscious design, into co-creation with the field. And the shift begins now, in this very moment, simply by becoming aware of it. The blueprint is not somewhere out there. It is in the way you think, the way you feel, the way you carry your identity into the world. And it is always listening. To understand this hidden structure more clearly, we must first uncover what science is already telling us about the true power of consciousness itself. What if your thoughts were not just personal? What if they were not confined to your mind at all, but echoed through the very structure of space and time? Not metaphor, not mysticism, but measurable science. Over the last century, physics has quietly rewritten the rules of reality. In the double-slit experiment, a foundational test in quantum mechanics, particles of light, photons, behaved differently when observed. When no one watched, they acted like waves, infinite probabilities. But the moment someone looked, they became particles, single, defined outcomes. Consciousness collapsed possibility into reality. Let that sink in. The simple act of observation changed the physical behavior of matter. This is not science fiction. It is peer-reviewed, replicated, and at the heart of modern physics. And it begs a life-altering question. If consciousness can alter particles at the smallest level, what happens when that same consciousness is directed with intention? That is where the story deepens. Neuroscience now shows that focused thought can rewire the brain, a phenomenon known as neuroplasticity. Your brain is not fixed. It is programmable. And the programmer? You. Studies in epigenetics take it even further. Dr. Bruce Lipton and others have revealed that your perception, your interpretation of reality, can switch genes on or off. That means your environment does not determine your destiny, your awareness of it does. You are not simply responding to life. You are participating in it. Every thought sends electric currents across your neurons. Every emotion floods your body with biochemical signals. These signals do not just stay inside you, they radiate outward, shaping the electromagnetic field that surrounds you. HeartMath Institute has measured this field, proving that the human heart generates an electromagnetic wave that extends several feet outside the body. And when the mind and heart are in sync, in a state of coherence, that field becomes even more powerful, more focused, more magnetic. So the question becomes, what kind of field are you broadcasting? Because whether you are aware of it or not, you are always transmitting. Ancient spiritual teachings spoke of this long before science caught up. They said, as within, so without. You become what you think about. Energy flows where attention goes. Now the language has evolved, but the truth remains the same. You are not a passive receiver. You are a conscious projector, and the world is responding to your inner architecture. Imagine your thoughts as tuning forks. When you hold one long enough, it begins to resonate outward, vibrating with the frequencies of similar experiences. Not because you deserve it, not because you are lucky, but because that is how energy works. This is the essence of conscious creation. To realize that your awareness is not limited to the inside of your skull, it is a signal, an influence, a frequency that reaches into the very matter of the universe. And when you direct that awareness, with clarity, consistency and emotional truth, the field organizes itself to reflect it. This is not just about manifestation. It is about alignment with a deeper intelligence that is already inside you, waiting to be remembered. So if your thoughts truly influence matter, if your emotions are sculpting your electromagnetic field, if your attention determines what becomes real, then what exactly is this invisible structure you are interacting with? What is this quantum matrix, this field of infinite potential that listens, responds, and shapes itself according to your signal? To answer that, we must look deeper, beyond particles, beyond matter, into the vibrating living fabric beneath all things. If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Nikola Tesla's words were not just poetic, they were precise. He understood something that most of us are only beginning to grasp, that behind everything physical lies a pattern. And that pattern is not built from solid stuff, but from waves, from codes, from fields of invisible design. At the subatomic level, there is no solid matter. Electrons do not sit still, they dance, they pulse, they exist in clouds of probability. Everything you touch, everything you see, everything you are is made up of vibrating fields of energy, moving in and out of form. Your body, your thoughts, the chair you sit in. It is all frequency first, form second. This is the hidden truth behind the blueprint. Cymatics, the study of how sound frequency shapes matter, gives us a window into this reality. When sand is scattered on a vibrating plate and sound is applied, the grains organize themselves into geometric patterns, sacred shapes that shift based on pitch. Higher frequency, more complex form. Lower frequency, simpler structure. Now pause. Apply this to your life. What if your dominant emotional frequency, your energetic tone, is shaping the structure of your daily experiences in the same way? What if reality is not responding to what you say, but to the frequency you hold? Because it is. The quantum field is not random. It is intelligent. And it listens not with ears, but with resonance. Scalar fields. Non-linear, non-Hertzian energy forms flow beneath electromagnetic waves. These fields do not decay with distance. They connect points across space without needing time to travel. You have felt them before. When you walk into a room and sense tension before a word is spoken. When you think of someone and they message you seconds later. These are not coincidences. They are the soft echoes of a vibrational matrix that binds all life. In this matrix, energy precedes outcome. Frequency defines structure. And your consciousness is the tuner. You are not solid. You are not fixed. You are a pattern, a living wave of energy vibrating in a sea of possibilities. And that vibration can change. Your thoughts produce frequency. Your emotions amplify it. Your body, your breath, your heart, they are all instruments in the great symphony of your field. Resonance therapy has shown that even physical ailments can be traced to imbalanced frequencies and corrected by tuning the field. This is not fantasy, it is medicine. The blueprint is not a metaphor. It is a measurable phenomenon. But unlike printed plans for a house or a building, your blueprint is dynamic. It evolves with you. It reflects your state of being in real time. It adjusts to the frequency of your dominant signal. So the question is not whether you have a blueprint. You do. The question is, are you aware of what you are imprinting on it? When your inner frequency is aligned, when your thoughts, emotions, and intentions resonate together, the blueprint sharpens. Reality begins to move with clarity. Opportunities emerge. Synchronicities multiply. Form responds to energy with precision. But when your frequency is scattered, when fear fights desire, when belief contradicts intention, the signal becomes noisy. The field cannot respond with coherence. So it delays, or distorts, or reflects your doubt instead of your truth. You do not need to force the blueprint to work. You only need to tune to it. The clearer your energy, the more detailed the design. The higher your frequency, the more refined the form. And this is not about being perfect. It is about being present, intentional, aware, attuned. Everything you desire already exists in the field. Not as a finished product, but as a frequency, a vibrational template waiting for coherence. You are the bridge between potential and manifestation, between wave and form, between the unseen and the seen. And yet, these waves do not move randomly, they respond. The question is, to what? There is a mystery woven into the fabric of the universe, and you have been a part of it your entire life. You see, at the smallest levels of reality, things do not behave the way you'd expect. Particles are not just objects. They are waves of possibility, and those possibilities do not collapse into reality until something extraordinary happens. They are observed. This is the observer effect, one of the most baffling and revolutionary discoveries in quantum physics. When no one is looking, an electron behaves like a cloud, existing in multiple potential locations at once. But the moment it is observed, it chooses. It picks a single place, a single state. It becomes real. Think about that. Consciousness makes the invisible visible. Awareness causes reality to take shape. You collapse potential into form simply by observing it. This means reality is not static, it is responsive. And you are not just a bystander, you are an active participant in the creation of your world. But let us make this personal. Your life is full of waveforms, infinite possibilities swirling around you at every moment. These possibilities range from vibrant health to profound love, from deep purpose to extraordinary abundance. And which of those becomes your lived experience? The ones you observe with the most energy, with the most belief, attention, and emotion. Not the ones you wish for passively, but the ones you emotionally expect. Because in the mechanics of manifestation, the field does not respond to words, it responds to certainty, to coherence, to the depth of presence behind your observation. When you focus on something consistently, when you hold it in your mind and feel it as already done, you begin to collapse those waveforms into particles. You carve the blueprint. You tell the quantum field, "This is real for me." And the field responds accordingly. But here is the paradox. Most people spend their lives observing not what they want, but what they fear. They wake up and look for evidence of lack. They focus on problems, obstacles, delays. They observe what they do not want, over and over again. And the field listens. Because the universe does not give you what you want. It gives you what you observe, with belief. So the true mechanics of manifestation are not about wishful thinking or forced positivity. They are about shifting your relationship with reality, noticing your attention, retraining your focus, reclaiming the power of your observation. This is why visualization works, not because it convinces the universe, but because it trains your nervous system. It signals to the subconscious that this is safe, this is normal, this is expected. And once your subconscious believes it, the field begins to arrange circumstances to match it. It is like tuning a radio. You do not create the song. It is already out there, but until you match the right frequency, you will never hear it. Likewise, your desired reality already exists as a potential in the quantum field. You bring it into form by tuning your observation to its frequency. Your thoughts are the lens. Your emotions are the amplifier. Your focus is the trigger. You do not have to chase outcomes. You have to become the observer who expects them. That is how the blueprint begins to respond. That is how manifestation becomes not a struggle, but a side effect of alignment. And yet, there is something even deeper here. Something most people miss. You are not just observing reality. You are the blueprint creating it. Because the observer and the observed are not separate. They are one. Which means, you are both the architect and the creation. You are not a passive witness to reality. You are not drifting through a world pre-written by forces outside your control. You are the blueprint in motion. The living, breathing embodiment of design, frequency, and conscious intelligence. The quantum field does not exist separately from you. It flows through you, responds to you, mirrors from you. You are not an effect of the universe. You are an extension of it. At the deepest level, everything is connected. This is not just spiritual metaphor, it is scientific truth. Quantum entanglement shows us that two particles, once connected, remain linked across vast distances. Change one, and the other responds instantly, regardless of space. This means that separation is an illusion, that boundaries are flexible, and that you are intimately tied to the entire web of existence. The holographic principle takes this even further. It suggests that every piece of the universe contains the pattern of the whole. Just like every drop of the ocean holds the memory of the entire sea, you carry the structure of the cosmos within you. You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the ocean, encoded in a drop, designed to create. That is why your thoughts matter. That is why your emotions matter. Not because they float into the air and vanish, but because they are instructions, blueprints that inform the field about who you believe you are. And here is the part many people overlook. The universe does not respond to what you consciously say you want. It responds to what you unconsciously expect. Your identity, your inner self-concept, is the strongest frequency you emit. It tells the field, this is who I am. This is what I allow. This is what is normal for me. And the field responds, not with judgment, but with precision. So when you say, I want abundance, but you feel lack, the field mirrors the feeling, not the phrase. When you say, I deserve love, but you expect rejection, the pattern follows the expectation. This is why identity work is the foundation of transformation. Because the outer world reflects the inner frequency, not occasionally, but always. You are the blueprint in action. A walking, thinking, feeling projection of energetic information. the way you carry yourself, the way you speak to yourself, the way you respond to life's challenges, all of it is code. You are not stuck. You are not broken. You are simply manifesting from a pattern you forgot you created. But patterns can be rewritten. Signals can be retuned. And the moment you become conscious of your blueprint, the moment you realize you are the source, everything begins to shift. Because you do not need to become powerful. You already are. You have just been broadcasting a version of yourself that was never the full truth. So who do you now choose to be? The architect is already awake within you. The energy is already flowing through you. And the blueprint is waiting for your next instruction. And the clearest code that guides that blueprint: your beliefs. What you believe about yourself is not just a thought, it is a frequency. Your beliefs form the architecture of your reality. Right now, whether you realize it or not, you are creating from a deep internal code. Not a code written in numbers or logic, but in identity, in self-perception, in the unspoken assumptions you hold about what is possible, what is safe, and what you think you deserve. These codes operate silently. They are embedded in your nervous system, in your subconscious mind, in the stories you repeat without question. And every single one of them emits a frequency. What does that mean? It means the universe does not respond to your surface-level desires. It responds to your dominant emotional blueprint, the core belief behind the words. When someone believes, "I always struggle," that becomes the signature they send into the field. When someone believes, "Good things come to me easily," the field reflects that back. Different beliefs, different frequencies, different realities. You are not being tested. You are being mirrored. This is the foundation of conscious creation, not forcing outcomes, but aligning identity. Because what you believe you are becomes the limit of what you can receive. Your outer world is a feedback loop. Every result, every delay, every synchronicity is an echo of your internal coding. And here is the most important part. Your identity is not fixed. It is not a label. It is a frequency pattern, and frequency can be changed. Beliefs are not inherited facts. They are practiced thoughts, repeated so many times they became your energetic default. You did not choose all your beliefs. Some were absorbed through childhood. Some came from culture, fear, or trauma. But they can all be rewritten. Start by asking, what do I believe about money? About love? About my worth? About my power to change? Write the answers down. Speak them out loud. Watch how they feel in your body. Because your body does not lie. Tension reveals misalignment. Ease reveals truth. You do not need to fight your beliefs. You need to expose them. Bring them into the light so they stop running the show from behind the curtain. Then comes the real shift. Replacing those beliefs with ones that match who you are becoming, not who you have been. Affirmations are not magic spells. They are retraining tools. They work when they align with a felt frequency, when you do not just say, "I am worthy," but begin to act, speak, and expect from that place. Belief is a choice followed by repetition. And over time, repetition becomes resonance. As your new beliefs settle in, your frequency changes. And the field responds, not with random rewards, but with precision feedback. Everything begins to shift. Your relationships feel different. Opportunities find you. Obstacles dissolve that once felt immovable. Not because the world changed, but because you did. This is how the blueprint updates. From the inside out. From belief to signal. From signal to structure. And remember, your identity is not just an internal experience, it is what you broadcast. The way you show up in conversations, the boundaries you hold, the way you receive, it all reflects your internal code. You teach the world how to treat you based on how you believe you deserve to be treated. So choose your beliefs with care. and treat them like energetic architecture. Because that is exactly what they are. You are never stuck, only cycling through the same blueprint. But now you see the pattern, and with that awareness you can choose again. But belief alone is not enough. The field needs full coherence to respond. The quantum field is not random. It is not blind, and it is not selective. It is responsive, perfectly, precisely, and constantly. And it responds to you, not to your words, not to your fleeting desires, but to your full body signal, the frequency you emit when thought, feeling, and identity are in alignment. You are broadcasting a vibration in every moment, even in silence, even in doubt, even when you are not trying. Your thoughts create the template. Your emotions give it power. And your body, your posture, breath, energy, becomes the physical transmitter of that frequency. It is like a radio tower. When all components are in sync, the signal is clear, strong, and far-reaching. But when the system is scattered, when thoughts say one thing, emotions feel another, and identity contradicts both, the signal gets scrambled. And the field does not respond with clarity. It reflects the confusion. So ask yourself, what are you broadcasting right now? Because your life is not echoing your requests. It is echoing your coherence. This is where the science meets the soul. HeartMath Institute has shown that when the brain and the heart enter a state of coherence, when they pulse together in harmony, your electromagnetic field expands. It becomes stronger, more ordered, more magnetic. In these moments, your body becomes a tuning fork for your desired reality. Not because you are forcing anything, but because you are aligned. And the field loves alignment. Think of it this way. The quantum field is like a mirror made of energy, but unlike a glass mirror, it does not reflect what you look like. It reflects what you vibrate like. If your dominant signal is fear, the field reflects situations that validate fear. If your dominant signal is trust, life begins to confirm that you are supported. It does not respond to morality. It does not judge. It mirrors. And that gives you incredible power. Because when you shift your state, even slightly, the reflection must shift too. You have experienced this already. Think of a day when you woke up clear, centered, grateful. Suddenly people were kind. Traffic opened up. Synchronicities happened. Now think of a day you woke up stressed, scattered, or disconnected. What did life show you then? The field was the same. You were the variable. You do not need to control the field. You need to match it. You need to broadcast a signal that speaks clearly, powerfully, and consistently. And this does not mean perfection. It means honesty. It means presence. It means learning how to regulate your inner world so that your outer world has something stable to respond to. Because coherence is not rigid, it is resilient. It adapts. It flows, but it always remains anchored in truth. Your signal is always broadcasting. The question is, are you tuning it by default or by design? And if you are the one tuning the signal, then who is the one behind it? Who is the source of this broadcast? Let us go deeper and meet the architect within. There is a part of you that has never been confused, never been afraid, never forgotten who you really are. It is the part of you that watches, quietly, while the rest of you searches. It is not your ego, not your personality, not even your mind. It is deeper, older, wiser, and it is the architect. This inner architect is the essence of you, the observer behind the thoughts, the stillness beneath the noise, the one who has always known that you were meant for more. Not more success, not more validation, but more alignment, more freedom, more truth. You were never meant to beg reality to change. You were born to shape it. But somewhere along the way you forgot. You began to believe the outer world was more real than your inner world. You began reacting instead of designing, waiting instead of creating. And yet, Even in those moments, the architect remained silent, present, undeniable. This inner self is not bound by logic or time. It does not argue. It does not panic. It holds the blueprint. It is the blueprint. When you experience moments of intuition, clarity or inner knowing, that is the architect speaking. When you visualize a life that feels impossible but deeply right, that is the architect remembering. When you feel a sudden peace despite external chaos, that is the architect reminding you that you are not your circumstances. You have met this version of yourself before, in dreams, in stillness, in moments of surrender. And now it is time to let that self lead. Because the version of you that has been trying to control everything, that is not the real you. That is the conditioned self, the one shaped by fear, by history, by old programming. But the architect, that is the unconditioned self, the one who sees from above the story, the one who already knows the path because it designed the path. This is not philosophy. This is how high-level transformation works. All lasting change comes not from rearranging your outer world, but from stepping into the self who already lives in alignment with that change. And that self is not out of reach. It is waiting for permission. You are not here to find your power. You are here to remember that you are power. And from that place, not from striving but from identity, everything begins to reorganize. People often ask, how do I manifest faster? But that is the wrong question. The right question is, what version of me does that reality already recognize? The architect within does not chase timelines. It collapses them. By being, by aligning, by choosing the frequency now, not later. When you embody the architect, your energy shifts before your circumstances do. Your thoughts become clearer. Your emotions more balanced. Your actions more purposeful. And the field, always listening, begins to rearrange in response. Not because you forced it, but because you became coherent with it. You did not have to make it happen. You became the version of you for whom it always happens. This is the return to authorship, to alignment, to divine responsibility. And it begins the moment you stop outsourcing your power and turn inward, to the place where it has always been. The architect has been waiting. Now you are ready. And the tool of the architect, frequency alignment. Your life is not shaped by action alone. It is shaped by alignment. And alignment begins with frequency. Every outcome you are reaching for, every vision you hold, already exists in the quantum field. Not as a physical object, but as an energetic pattern, a frequency. And the only way to access that reality is to match it. This is not a poetic metaphor. It is a measurable phenomenon. Everything in existence vibrates. Your body, your thoughts, your emotions, your intentions. Each carries a distinct energetic signature. When these signals are incoherent, when your thoughts say one thing, your heart feels another, and your body resists both, the field receives static. But when all three align, your signal becomes clear, focused, magnetic. This is the science of inner coherence. It is the bridge between desire and manifestation, and it starts within you. Studies by HeartMath Institute have shown that when the heart and brain enter coherence, the body's electromagnetic field becomes more organized. You feel calmer, more focused, more powerful. But this is not just about feeling good, it is about broadcasting a strong signal. A signal that the quantum field responds to. So how do you reach that state? The first step is presence. Coherence begins the moment you return to now, not tomorrow, not yesterday. The breath is your gateway. Slow it. Deepen it. Inhale as if you are receiving. Exhale as if you are releasing. This immediately synchronizes your nervous system and quiets mental noise. The second step is emotional elevation. Gratitude, love, joy, peace. These are not just nice ideas, they are high-frequency emotions. When genuinely felt, they generate measurable coherence in your electromagnetic field. They literally shift your vibration. Visualization is next. Not just imagining what you want, but feeling it as already real. Let your senses participate. See the result. Hear the sounds. Feel the emotion of already done. When your subconscious cannot tell the difference between real and vividly imagined, it begins to prepare the body for the new timeline. The field begins to respond. Another powerful tool: meditation. Not to escape the world, but to reset your frequency. To sit in stillness is to return to signal clarity. You strip away the noise and remember the core vibration of who you are, not who you have been taught to be. But remember, coherence is not about controlling your emotions. It is about becoming aware of them. If you are angry, be present with the anger. If you are afraid, witness the fear. The act of conscious observation dissolves emotional charge. It brings you back into frequency neutrality, from which you can choose alignment again. You are not meant to suppress your feelings. You are meant to feel them fully, then transmute. Coherence does not mean perfection. It means integrity between your thoughts, feelings, and truth. It means living in such resonance that the outer world begins to echo back your inner clarity. And here is where it gets exciting. Once you become coherent, you become a magnet. Not in a mystical sense, but in a literal electromagnetic one. Your field expands. People respond differently. Circumstances shift faster. Time collapses. Why? Because you are no longer broadcasting mixed signals. You are saying to the field, "This is who I am." And the field, always listening, says, "Then this is what you receive." Your future is vibrating right now. The more you match its signal, the faster it materializes. This is the power of frequency alignment. It is not about doing more. It is about becoming a clearer signal, the most precise version of your highest self. This is not temporary work. It is a way of living, a commitment to congruence, to listening inward before reacting outward. And when coherence becomes your baseline, reality becomes your canvas. But what pulls you out of alignment more than anything? Your emotional loops. You do not attract what you think once. You attract what you feel often, because what you feel becomes what you believe, and what you believe becomes what you broadcast. Every day, without realizing it, most people run the same patterns, same thoughts, same emotional reactions. They replay old stories and call them facts. They loop, not because they want to, but because the mind loves familiarity, even if it is painful. And the field, it listens to those loops like instructions. It mirrors the frequency, not the intention. This is the hidden trap of manifestation. You can visualize something extraordinary for 10 minutes a day, but if you spend the other 23 hours feeling unworthy, doubting yourself and expecting disappointment, the field responds to that signal. The dominant one. The one you practice the most. Thoughts trigger emotions. Emotions reinforce thoughts. And over time, the cycle becomes so automatic that you do not even notice it. These thought-emotion loops act like energetic signatures. Each one sends a consistent pattern into the field, saying, "This is who I am. This is what I expect. This is what is safe." And the quantum blueprint obeys. It does not ask whether the loop is empowering or limiting. It simply responds to its consistency. So if you have been stuck in a cycle, repeating the same outcomes in your health, your relationships, your finances, the first place to look is inside. Not at your goals, but at the emotional grooves you keep falling into. And here is the truth. You cannot change a loop by force. You change it by awareness. By recognizing, pausing, and choosing differently, again and again, until a new signal takes hold. It begins the moment you stop believing every thought. The moment you realize that a feeling is not a prophecy, it is a reflection. And you are not the loop. You are the awareness of it. From that space, you can begin to shift. The loop says, I am always stuck. You say, I am choosing expansion. The loop says, nothing ever works for me. You say, I am learning to trust the process. The loop says, this is just how I am. You say, I am becoming someone new. Each new response becomes a frequency interrupt, a crack in the old pattern. And with repetition, those cracks become new pathways, new emotional tones, new expectations, new reality. This is not bypassing, it is rewriting. Because when you choose a higher thought and pair it with a higher feeling, even if just for a moment, you send a new signal. And if you do it again tomorrow, and again the next day, the blueprint adjusts. The field shifts. The mirror reflects something new. This is the real work of transformation, not just imagining a different life, but feeling your way into it one loop at a time. And when you break the loop, you begin to access higher choice points. Time is not what you have been taught. It is not a straight line moving from past to future. It is a field, layered, multidimensional, responsive, and within it, there are infinite versions of you already existing. Each choice you make tunes you to a version of reality, a timeline, a version where things go right, a version where they do not, a version where you are free, a version where you stay small. These are not fantasies. They are quantum potentials, realities that already exist as energetic blueprints within the field. Every moment, you are at a fork in the road. Not once a year, not during big decisions, but now, and now, and now again. And your dominant frequency determines which fork you take. If you stay locked in the same thought-emotion loops, you recycle timelines. You recreate what you have already lived. Not because you are cursed, but because you are coherent with an outdated pattern. The field says, you are still broadcasting this. So here it is again. These are reality loops, self-reinforcing patterns that pull you into familiar versions of yourself. And the longer you stay in them, the more real they seem, until you forget that another version of you is always available. The version that is already whole, already clear, already aligned. And here is the most powerful truth. You do not have to fix the old version to access the new one. You only have to choose it. Now, that is what a choice point is. It is not about what you do. It is about who you decide to be in this moment. The past does not have to define the present, and the present does not have to repeat the past. But unless you become conscious, it will. This is why awareness is so vital. Because you cannot shift timelines unconsciously. You can only shift through presence. So ask yourself, who am I being right now? What timeline does this version of me belong to? And do I want to keep living there? Because every belief you reinforce, every emotion you rehearse, every expectation you carry is a vote for a version of reality. And the field always honors your vote. But when you become aware, when you pause, reflect, and realign, you create a crack in the loop. A space for the architect to step in, a doorway into a higher timeline. You might call it intuition, a gut feeling, a whisper of something more. That is the pull of a parallel version of you, reaching back, inviting you forward. And when you say yes to that version, even before you see the evidence, you collapse probabilities. You pull the future into the present. You bend time by changing who you are now. At every moment, 1,000 versions of you exist. Which one are you choosing now? The mind wants to wait until the path is clear. But the field does not respond to waiting. It responds to being. You do not align with your future by chasing it. You align by embodying it. So let the past be data, not identity. Let the future be possibility, not pressure. And let this moment be your access point. Because this moment is not small. It is the door. And the key is presence. The doorway to all of it. Presence. This moment is the doorway. Not the future. Not the perfect plan. Not the someday when everything aligns. Now, because the only time you can truly create from is the present. The only moment the field responds to is this one, the now in which your consciousness becomes aware, aligned, and alive. Everything you have learned about frequency, belief, identity, the quantum field, leads here to a single sacred truth. Your power is not in what you remember. It is in what you embody. To activate the blueprint, you do not need to do more. You need to become more coherent, more intentional, more present with what you are radiating right now. That means waking up to your state of being. It means noticing your breath before reacting, feeling your emotional tone before you speak, observing your thoughts without letting them define you. This is not about control. It is about awareness. When you are aware, you become the architect. When you are distracted, you become the loop. So how do you anchor your intention in the now? Begin with breath. The inhale draws you inward. The exhale grounds you. Inhale presence. Exhale resistance. This simple rhythm is your first recalibration, your signal of readiness. Next, place your awareness in the body. Feel your heartbeat. Notice the sensations in your chest, your hands, your spine. Bring your consciousness from the mind into the field, the energetic body that extends beyond the skin. Then, speak your intention into this space. Not from a place of lack, but from alignment. Say it like it is already real, because in the field it is. Example: I am clarity. I am ready. I am aligned with my highest timeline. These are not just words. They are codes, instructions to the quantum field that this is the frequency you are claiming. Feel them. Let the body respond. Notice the shift when the intention is authentic. And then act from it. Not from the old pattern, but from the new identity. Ask, how does the version of me who already lives this reality think, speak, choose? Then become that version, even if just for today. Each moment you do this, you collapse more distance between now and the life you desire. You tell the field, this is who I am. And the field, unconditionally responsive, begins to reflect it back. You do not have to know the full path. You do not have to fix everything at once. You only need to become deliberate with the frequency you are holding now. Because this moment is the portal, not later. Not someday. Now. Presence is not passive. It is the most powerful creative state you can enter. It is where awareness meets energy, where intention becomes instruction, where the blueprint activates itself through the signal of your being. So pause. Feel the space between thoughts. Feel the stillness underneath the momentum. And know that in this breath, this heartbeat, this intention, you are already transmitting the future into form. Before we close, here is how you can begin using this blueprint practically today. If you are feeling a shift right now, like this is speaking directly to you, you are not imagining it. This message found you at the exact frequency you were ready for. Because your inner architect is awakening, and your blueprint is waiting to be reclaimed. So pause, take a breath, and ask yourself, who am I becoming? If this resonates deeply, if something inside you feels activated, do not let that energy fade. Anchor it. Subscribe to this channel, join our community, and share your experience in the comments. You are not alone in this awakening. There are others walking the same path, tuning to the same signal, stepping into the same truth. Your frequency is your invitation, and your presence is your power. Now let us explore how this shows up in real life, through real transformation. This is not theory. This is not wishful thinking. What you have been learning about frequency, intention, identity is already transforming lives, and the results are not subtle. They are undeniable. Let us begin with the placebo effect, one of the most widely documented demonstrations of mind over matter. Patients given sugar pills with no active ingredient experience real healing because they believe. Their bodies respond to the belief, not the chemical. Their frequency becomes the medicine. Then there is neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire itself based on repeated thought. In study after study, people have used visualization to strengthen muscles, release phobias, reduce chronic pain, all without external action. The internal blueprint changes, and the outer world follows. You do not need a lab to prove this. You have felt it in your own life. Think of a time when you finally let go of an identity that was limiting you, and within days, opportunities appeared. Think of a time when you shifted your energy, and suddenly the world responded. A call came in. An offer arrived. Synchronicity unfolded. That is not magic. That is mechanics. You aligned with a new version of reality, and the quantum field delivered what matched that version. Take Sarah, for example, a woman who had been stuck in financial scarcity for years. No matter how hard she worked, she could not break past a certain ceiling. Until she stopped focusing on doing more and began tuning her frequency to abundance. She rewrote her beliefs about money. She practiced daily coherence, combining breathwork with visualization and elevated emotion. And in less than 90 days, she landed a job that doubled her income, with less stress and more alignment than ever before. Or David, a man battling depression who began to explore quantum healing principles. He did not suppress his emotions. He learned to observe them without judgment. He practiced gratitude, not as a mental exercise, but as an embodied state. And slowly, something shifted. Not because his life changed first, but because he changed. And as his frequency rose, the loop of despair broke. Today, he's not just functioning. He's leading others through their own breakthroughs. Stories like these are becoming more common. Not because people are getting luckier, but because they are getting aligned. They are learning to activate their blueprint consciously, to live from the inside out, to become coherent creators rather than passive participants. Even organizations are catching on. Some cutting-edge schools and companies are incorporating meditation, intention setting, and heart-brain coherence into their daily routines. And they are seeing results: improved focus, higher performance, greater collaboration. Because when people align, everything around them does too. If it is being done, it is possible. If it is possible, it is yours. These are not exceptions. They are reflections of what becomes available when you embody the principles you have just learned. And you do not need to wait for permission. You do not need more proof. You are already creating. The only question is, are you doing it consciously? Start now. Today, choose a new loop. Speak a new identity. Align with a higher frequency, not because you need to fix yourself, but because you remember who you really are. The field will respond. Let us finish with what really matters, who you now choose to become. You have reached the edge of a threshold, the point where knowledge must become embodiment and awareness becomes power. Because now you know. You know that reality is not fixed. You know that energy precedes matter. And you know that your frequency is the blueprint. But knowing is not enough. Creation does not respond to passive insight. It responds to identity, to who you are, not just what you think. You are the observer. You are the blueprint. You are the architect. And now you are being called to become the creator, deliberately, fearlessly, consciously. This is your final shift, not into perfection, but into authorship. A return to alignment with the truth you have always carried. That you are the field. You are the wave and the particle. You are the consciousness shaping reality, not as a concept, but as a living truth. Let that land. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are not waiting. You are remembering. The version of you that lives in freedom, clarity, purpose, that version already exists. It is not out there. It is coded within your field, waiting to be chosen. So choose. Choose coherence. Choose alignment. Choose presence. Every thought is a vote. Every emotion is a key. Every moment of awareness is a shift in trajectory. Do not underestimate the power of small energetic moves. A single elevated thought repeated in truth is more potent than years of action in misalignment. So start where you are. Not with striving, but with intention. Not with needing, but with knowing. Say it out loud. Declare it to the field. I am the blueprint. I broadcast abundance. I create from now. Repeat it until it lives in your cells. Repeat it until the vibration feels more real than the past you have been carrying. Because once you embody it, the world must respond. The blueprint is no longer hidden. You have seen it, felt it. You are it. Now let your life become the evidence. Speak with the voice of your future. Walk with the frequency of your vision. Love with the clarity of presence. Decide again and again that this is your path, not because it is easy, but because it is true. And when the old loops try to pull you back, pause, breathe, return. Presence is always your way home. This is not the end of your journey. It is the ignition. You do not need to wait for signs. You are the sign. You do not need to seek outside for the next step. It is already within you, vibrating with quiet certainty. So rise. Step fully into the reality that is already coded for you, the one you align with not through force but through being. If this opened something in you, do not let it fade. Subscribe. Comment what resonated most. Declare your shift. And take your place as the conscious creator of your quantum life. Because this moment is yours. The field is listening, and the future is already responding.